Have you ever tried something in ministry that completely flopped? Maybe you launched a new outreach, you poured your heart into it, and almost nobody showed up. Yeah, I've experienced that too. But here's the truth: failure is not the opposite of success. No, it's actually a crucial step on the path to success. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about why the speed of innovation in your ministry is directly tied to how safe it is to fail. Hey, it's Larry Witzel with another ministry insight from SermonView. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. I'm incredibly honored to spend a few minutes with you. And if you like what you hear, please subscribe and share it with a ministry colleague. Let's face it, most church leaders don't like to fail. Not because we're prideful, but because we care deeply. We don't want to waste resources. We don't want to hurt people. And yeah, deep down, we don't want to look incompetent. So what do? We become cautious. We avoid risk. We default to what's familiar. But here's the hard truth: you can't have innovation without failure. Ministry today is operating in a post-Christian, distracted, digitally saturated culture. That means that what worked 30 years ago, or even 3 years ago, may not work now. If we're going to reach this generation with the good news, we need innovation. It is mandatory. But innovation always comes with risk. I get it. Failure feels costly. But here's the thing: the cost of not innovating is far greater. Because when we avoid trying new things, we stagnate. We drift from mission. We settle for maintenance instead of movement. Personally, I found that there's incredible power in failing. I learned way more from failure than from success. Now, I'm not talking about moral failure, not sin, not negligence. I'm talking about mission-driven failure, trying something bold, spirit-led, strategic, and being willing to say, well, that didn't work, but here's what we learned. That's not weakness, that's leadership. I love how S.I. Hayakawa put it. Notice the difference between what happens when someone says, I have failed 3 times, and what happens when they say, I am a failure. Failure is an event, not an identity. It's a data point, not the final verdict. It's a rest stop, not the destination. When you create a culture where failure is seen as part of learning, people will be willing to take risks. They'll try new things. They innovate. But if failure is punished or hidden, creativity withers. So here's the insight I want you to understand. The speed of innovation in your ministry is directly tied to how safe it is to fail. If your team fears embarrassment or blame, they'll play it safe. But if failure is met with curiosity instead of criticism, your ministry becomes a crucible of creativity. Proverbs 24:16 says, the godly may trip 7 times, but they will get up again. Falling isn't failure. Staying down is. And faithful leaders get back up. Look, even Jesus himself didn't bat 1,000. Think about it. He gave the rich young ruler the perfect appeal, and the guy walked away. Was that a failure? He wept over Jerusalem, longing to gather the people to himself, but they refused. Was that a failure? One of his hand-picked disciples betrayed him. Was that a failure? Perhaps from a purely strategic standpoint, but from a kingdom standpoint, it was simply faithfulness. I love Thomas Edison's famous quote, I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That's not just resilience, that's vision. Research published in the Journal of Long Range Planning backs this up. Mark Cannon and Amy Edmondson found that organizations which intentionally debrief and share failure stories learn faster, innovate more consistently, and outperform those that don't. The key is not avoiding failure, it's learning to fail intelligently. Did you catch that? When you share failure stories, your people will learn faster and innovate more consistently. So, what does this mean for you as a leader? It means that if we want to see innovation take root in our churches, we've got to intentionally shape the environment where it can thrive. And that environment starts with how we treat failure. So let me give you 4 practical ways to cultivate a culture of innovation in your ministry starting this week. First, debrief failure openly. Make postmortems normal, not awkward. After every evangelistic campaign, every ministry launch, every outreach event, take the time to ask, what worked? What went well? What didn't? And most importantly, what are some things that we learned from this? Don't just do this when things go wrong. Make it a regular part of the rhythm of ministry, not a reaction. Second, celebrate learning, not just success. We all love to celebrate wins, but what if we also celebrated bold experiments, even if they didn't go as planned? What if we said, hey, that took courage, and here's how it's shaping our next steps? When we reward learning, not just outcomes, we give people permission to keep innovating. Third, model humility and curiosity yourself. Leadership starts at the top. If you, as a pastor or department leader, are willing to say, here's what I learned from something that didn't work, you create safety for others to do the same. People don't follow perfection, they follow honesty. And finally, persist through the failure. Don't stop. Don't give up. Use what you've learned to try again, smarter, wiser, more experienced. Just because something didn't work the first time doesn't mean that it wasn't worth doing. Let me tell you about my friend, Pastor Annabelle Hansel, who serves in Maryland. During the pandemic, he felt the Holy Spirit prompting his church to launch an online community Bible school. The vision was bold: use digital tools to reach people beyond the walls of the church to plant gospel seeds far and wide. At first, it looked like it was working. Within a month of their launch, over 200 people had signed up. But when it came time for the live Bible studies, only a few people showed up. And then streaming issues plagued the sessions and guests started dropping off. Their hearts sank. But Pastor Hansel did not quit. Instead, he leaned into prayer and his church doubled down. One member started calling participants 10 minutes before each session to remind them. Another one called them at other times of the day to pray with them. There were some that formed a prayer team that met daily at noon, and slowly the tide turned. People started showing up more consistently. They started engaging, and the digital community began to grow, not just in numbers, but in spiritual depth. I saw a lot of pastors attempt to hold digital evangelistic meetings during the pandemic. Most tried it once, didn't see success, and gave up. Pastor Hansel, though, pushed through that initial failure. They tried it again. They saw better results. And again, they improved their marketing. They improved their tech skills. They improved their retention. And last time they did their digital Bible school, 21 baptisms. That's what it means to persist through failure. Not to ignore the disappointment, but to learn from it, press through it, and trust that God is still at work even when the results don't show up right away. And it's that persistence that I want to celebrate. Yes, 21 baptisms is amazing, but more than that, I celebrate the process that led to these results. Galatians 6:9 says, let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. So keep going, because the breakthrough might just be on the other side of that failure. That's how you create a culture of innovation. That's how you lead boldly into the unknown. That's how the kingdom advances. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the journey. Let me be frank. If your ministry isn't failing at something once in a while, you're probably not innovating enough. And when you create a safe space for failure, you unleash bold ideas, a deeper learning, and greater kingdom impact. And the fact is, the speed of innovation in your ministry is directly tied to how safe it is to fail. So, debrief the losses, celebrate the learning, and keep going, because the breakthrough just might be on the other side of that failure. If this episode resonated with you, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a fellow pastor or ministry leader who might be struggling with discouragement. We'd also love to hear from you. What's one failure that taught you something valuable? Drop it in the comments on YouTube. Have you ever wondered why innovation is so difficult in the local church? Why, even when you have a great idea, you end up defaulting to what's familiar. If you'd like to hear more about the powerful forces at play, relational, cultural, even neurological, that make innovation harder than it should be, check out the last episode of Ministry Insights, where I share 5 potential barriers to innovation in your church. Pastor, I know sometimes ministry can be incredibly lonely. You try something bold and it doesn't go the way that you hoped. But even your failures are not wasted. God uses everything. And when you step out in faith, even if you fall, you're planting seeds that are being spread far beyond what you can see. So keep taking those steps. Keep trusting Him with the outcomes, because God is doing something amazing through you even now. Your ministry matters more than you know. I love you guys. I'm cheering for you. We'll see you next time.